All right, welcome to Out of the Blue from the Block M Podcast Network, part of the Fan First Sports Network. This podcast is worshipped as a deity in southern Sri Lanka. I am Jared Stormer of the Block M Podcast Network and MaizenBrew.com. With me, as always, is Andy Bailey, my hetero life mate of the same place and time. Andy Bailey, his enemies will know his quality should ever he meet them. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, brother. How are you tonight?
I am tremendous. It was a good weekend. We got Thanksgiving right around the corner, and you know what comes with Thanksgiving. That's for another podcast. Cannot wait to talk about that. But we've got some serious stuff to catch up on this one, man. So good weekend. It's busy time of the year. It's
Busy.
insane yeah, dude, it's crazy how quick this year flew by and how quick the football season flew by. It's like, even when things were getting ugly in Northwestern, it's like, I don't want this to end. There's only 2 regular season games after this.
I know, man. It always goes by too fast. It's like I always try to remind ourselves that in the middle of the year. It's like you may not be enjoying this Michigan Purdue game right now, but come middle of July, you'll be begging for it.
Oh, I would be begging for like UNLV versus Bowling Green, come July. I'm just like, give me anything that resembles
Anything.
football. So I'm going to enjoy it even when it doesn't look great. And obviously, we'll talk in depth about that game and everything that occurred in the win over Northwestern. First, let's touch the banner here. Let's start here. How about the 2016 Wolverines putting on for the very injured Detroit Pistons? Very fun to turn it on and see Karis LeVert and Duncan Robinson leading this Pistons team to 11-2. They are number 1 in the East with a bullet, winning with defense, winning with grit. The depth is really showing out. 7 of their 8 top rotation players were injured, and they found a way to win. Some guys starting to come back, but LeVert and Duncan playing a huge role, man. And like, they've been there for all the games, and LeVert started off slow, but starting to come on. And it's just kind of a fun story to come back to Detroit and put on like that and be part of such a, dare I say, the best team in Michigan outside. We'll talk Michigan hockey in a minute, but with the Tigers maybe losing Tarek, the Lions lose last night to Philadelphia and a pretty uninspiring performance. Pistons might be at the top of the mountain right now.
How many wins did the Pistons have 2 years ago?
I believe it was 14.
And you watched every one of them. I
I
remember.
watched almost all of them. Yeah, it
I
was
was like,
rough.
Jared, I was up to visit you, I think in the spring that year, and you turned on a Pistons game and you're trying to talk yourself into Killian Hayes minutes. I was like, buddy, I just don't think it's going to happen tonight.
I was like, well, hang on. He's 3 for 16. He's gonna turn it around as I'm just huffing paint in the hot tub.
I actually think they won that game, which is crazy enough that we were together for one of their wins.
One
But
of
to
the 14.
see where they've come in 2 years, man, it's awesome to see. And it's like you said, it's even better to see it with some former Wolverines.
Yeah, man. It's been fun times. They should get a lot of their guys back here soon. Jaden Ivey even should be coming back here within the next couple weeks. So if that team's healthy at the end of the year, I've seen enough. The wagon committee had no choice but to meet in the dead of the night because the East is wide open, man. And this
Yeah.
Detroit team has as good a shot as anybody to make it out of that conference. Now, once they get there, they're going to run up against the buzzsaws. But it's exciting times, man. And if it's not the Pistons at the top of the mountain right now, if we're talking all sports, college and pros, Michigan hockey's the other contender there for top of the mountain as far as best team currently. Put Penn State in a locker. I know you were loving this one. Tell me about it, brother.
Brother, so Michigan hockey still number 2 in the country, number 2 in the Big Ten, only trailing Michigan State in both. Split with Penn State, but night 1 beat them 7-1. Just an emphatic beatdown on the road, just got off and running and never looked back. And in game 2, it just took them a little too long to solve the goalie issue. They got down 3-0. They came back to make it 3-2, lost 4-2 on an empty netter. But the fight was there. You could see them finally click at the end of the game. Like I said, it was just a little bit too little too late. They scored both those goals in the final 10 minutes. Like, just turned it on then, but you go back to night 1, you have the scoring in the aggregate. I mean, they still outscored them, 9-5? +4 on the weekend. That'll do. So still sit right there in the mix in the Big Ten. This is on pace to be Nerado's best team by far through the first half of the season. And if they just play 500 hockey from this point out, they will be right in the range of the Fantilli teams and all the teams Nerado's had before, including the 2 that made the Frozen Four.
Yeah, it's exciting, man. They might be at the top of the mountain. Lots of ways to win. They can win with offense. They can win with defense. They could win with just Jack Ivankovic having like an incredible game. Like he can
Stud.
kind of get you a win on his own. So it's a really good, really promising team with some of their best hockey in front of them. So if you get a chance, watch some Michigan hockey this year. You will not regret it. A couple football updates as well. The Justice Haynes comment from, I think Gus Johnson said it on the broadcast that he was done for the season. That was premature. Sharon Moore walked that back and said that that was not the case. Probably done for the regular season, though. So for the purposes of what we're discussing and the Ohio State game, I wouldn't get your hopes up to see Justice Haynes for the Ohio State game because and that's such a shame, man, because that quarterback wide receiver combo of Ohio State versus that running back room, that's must see TV. That would have been very nice. But the flip side of that is, sounds like Jordan Marshall is going to be okay. That is the best news that I saw today. So probably no Justice Haynes, but Jordan Marshall, it's not as bad as it looks, which is good because I was considering plugging in a toaster and wading into a pond.
And with Jordan Marshall, hopefully they can rest him against Maryland if need be, and then have him full tilt for Ohio State with no limitations. That's obviously the ideal scenario there. With Justice Haynes, are we starting the one more year chance already? Or is it
It
time?
might be. Maybe we're not chanting. Maybe we're whispering. We're passing notes in the hallway. We're batting eyelashes. I am fine with Justice Haynes, Jordan Marshall, Savion Hyder. And as we
Yeah.
learned this year, you need three backs at Michigan. We are going to be running the ball. And when your quarterback's turning it over, not to get ahead of the whole second half of this podcast, it's nice to be able to lean on that run game. You were talking about how Ole Miss did that when they didn't have it this week with their quarterback. You lean on that run game. Yeah, man. Justice Haynes, one more year. If you're saying like he's going third round, could we find third round running back money to bring back Justice Haynes? I think we
I
probably
think
could.
so. Because he's not going first round. That's out of the
No,
question. He's not going
no.
to be RB1. It's
That's
Jeremiah
Love and
Love with
then
a
nobody else. Yeah.
Love, and then there's a gap. If he comes back next year, he could be in the RB1 mix, and that's
Mm-hmm.
a big chunk of money. And again, like the way his injury sounds, he'd still be able to test at the combine, but he could potentially still go on day 2. But again, like I said, that's third rounder money, maybe late second. It's like, come on back for one more year, put a full year on tape. Because remember, coming into this season, he only had one career 100-yard
Right.
rushing game under his belt in 2 years at Bama. So put one more out there, I think it could really help his draft stock.
Yeah. No, that's a great point for those like, no, he'll be gone. Like, look at, and it's like, well, if you look at his overall body of work, you're not looking at exactly Ron Dane numbers out there.
Yeah.
Like it was looking incredible, but Jordan Marshall passed him in total yards on the season in this last game. So I'm into it. Obviously, I'm into it. I would love to find a way to do that and have that 3-headed monster next year. That would probably mean a transfer from like a Parker or a Cusdall, but that's the name of the game. If you can have that freaking running back room. So
It could be Parker because I think Cusdall would still find some minutes, especially in the return games, which we could talk about.
Look, forget like what's washed is saying we need to have 3 running backs at Michigan. It's time to start saying we need to have 4 running backs at Michigan. It's a modern era. I'm here for it.
You think 2022 Illinois, Isaiah Gash extended the game. You had to go deep on the bench for that one. So it's like they're going to find time. And if you have 3 reliable backs and then a fourth one to just take the garbage time carries away from even like the third back, that's ideal. And it also just takes some hits away from Savion Hyder.
Yeah. Once you've made the sale, stop selling. I'm bought in. I'll take all the stock you got, brother. Also from Sharon Moore, sounds like Andrew Marsh will probably, his words, remain punt returner. My follow-up question is, what the hell do you mean probably? He got 12 yards on 1 punt return. He halved Samaj Morgan's season total in 1 punt return, and Samaj Morgan put it on the deck in this one, adding to what has just been a nightmare season. He is the Killian Hayes of the Michigan football team. If it's not Andrew Marsh back there, okay, but it better not be Samaj. Put Joe Taylor back there.
Put anybody back there. Put Evan Link back there on one leg and just have him hop. We're going to have some thoughts about the psyop that is Samaj Morgan.
Yeah, we absolutely will. So we'll see what happens there. Michigan women's basketball, brother, 93-54 over a pretty good Notre Dame team. They move up to number 6. And per Kellen Voss, shout out to him for this stat. The first time that Michigan women and men both ranked inside the top 10 ever.
That's in the Minute 7.
That seems meaningful. Yeah, so you've got Michigan football, hockey, basketball, women's basketball, all ranked, and really Michigan football kind of the the lagging of the group,
But even
back
then,
there in the
still in the
teens,
mix for the playoff.
still in the
All of these
mix.
teams at the same time.
It's these are the good times, even if you've got some gripes out there. These are good times indeed, sir. What'd you see from that Michigan women's team?
Swarming defense. Swarming. Last year's size was such a big issue. I mean, they had just poor Greta Camp Schroeder playing so many post minutes, had played point guard the year before. So, like, they were just doing anything they could to just stop the leaks from, like, flooding over the deck. Not the issue this year. They are connected. They're experienced. Again, that triumvirate. I think there's even a fourth, like, true sophomore this year that kind of led the way last year. They've taken a step. Olivia Olson and Silas Swords, Mila Holloway, all studs, have size inside. Man, they're going to cause some teams issues this season. I think they're deep. They have the coach to do it, obviously, in KBA, who's best ever in program history. So they have the pieces. The biggest question for them is if they can just stay healthy. It's hard to find where the ceiling where the ceiling ends, to be honest. I mean, there's teams like UCLA, South Carolina, obviously, but this team played South Carolina tight last year without that size, and now they have it. So we'll see how it goes, man. This could be an exciting year for both teams.
Very excited for the February, March, April run with both of these basketball teams. We'll get to the Michigan basketball game here in a moment. Last little bit of news here. This was just today, actually. 2020 or yesterday, excuse me. 2026 three-star quarterback Tommy Carr flips his commitment to Michigan football. If that last name sounds familiar, that is grandson of Lloyd Carr and brother of CJ Carr, current quarterback for Notre Dame. He's a three-star, not as highly thought of as his brother, but nonetheless, this is a football lineage. I'm a big fan of bringing in the legacy commitments there. He's 6'4", $195, so a couple guys there along with him and Smeagol now to add some great depth there. And yeah, I mean this is great, man. So he'll be in for the tail end of the Bryce Underwood years and get to learn a little bit from under him. We'll see if it's Smeagol or if it's Carr or if maybe it's a transfer. It's hard to forecast who the next quarterback will be after the Underwood years, but happy to have him.
I love having a Carr in Ann Arbor. It makes complete sense. It just feels right. And also, lest we forget, his grandpa on the other side of his family is Tom freaking Curtis, the best safety in Michigan history. So
That'll do.
good lineage.
Yeah, good football lineage for the Carr family. Any other news tidbits you want to hit on before we get to this basketball?
No, we got a juicy one. Let's get after it.
Let's get after it. Michigan basketball 67-63 over TCU. They go to 3-0 on the season. This was an ugly one. There's going to be a lot of parallels between talking about this Michigan basketball game and the football game that we'll be covering in the back half of this pod, as our producer Tony noted in our text thread. Namely, the turnovers, 22 turnovers to TCU's 11 in this game. But at the end of the day, they fight back late in this one. Looks like they're going to drop it. Sound familiar to the football game, but fight their way back late in this one to get the win. Yaxel Lendenborg with 14 points on a very efficient 4 of 6 field goals, added double digits in the rebound category, had a couple 3 blocks as well, more than a couple, 3 blocks, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. So not filling up the stat sheet like some people expected, but that's a great game from Yaxel, man, and needed it when some other guys were really struggling.
This is just what we talked about the other night after the win when Adai Mara showed out. Like, this team has ways to win across the board. When one player is lacking, another player picks it up. So Yaxel was bad against Wake Forest. Adai Mara picks up the slack. Cadeau was good the first 2 games, was bad in this one. It's picked up. And once they all get going together, that's why people are excited about this team. They have the potential to be special, but right now they're still figuring each other out. Like, let's not forget that this time last year when Vlad Golden came to Ann Arbor and was settling in, he scored single digits in 5 of his first 6 games. Over the next 31, that only happened twice. So it takes time to build that chemistry early on. So you're going to have some growing pains, but this team is doing that while still finding a way to win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you said it all right there. You got to give this time to gel and see what this is going to be. Do I think Elliot Cadeau is going to go 1 of 6 with 6 turnovers every
No.
week? I do not. That is not who he is as a player. Obviously, he's got to be more efficient than that. But a lot of guys were very inefficient in this one. Dave Mara turned the ball over 5 times in this one. Morez Johnson, 5 of 11 with a couple turnovers in there. Although I really thought his defense, his physicality showed up in this one. I really like what we got with Mojo there. So still figuring some things out, but other guys to step up. Still got a lot of depth. The guard play, just in general, probably needs to improve, I would say, than from what we've seen recently. But we've also seen Cadeau with really strong performances
Yeah.
already this year. So, like you said, when it all is humming at the right time, and look at how much this Michigan team improved last year. We didn't think that they were going to make a run until we saw this team deep in February, and we're like, okay, like I think there's something here. So, a lot of ball left to be played, and I feel very confident that this team hasn't even come close to playing their best ball yet.
No, no, the ceiling remains so high. I'm excited to watch them grow over the coming weeks, see how they get it together. TCU is always tricky because Jamie Dixon's the head coach there who's at Pitt for years and is just one of the best in the business. So I threw a lot of different stuff at them in this game, stuff you have to learn on the fly. And again, you keep finding ways to win. And while you're building that winning DNA, that's what you rely on in March when things are going sideways.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. And Yaxel Lendenborg still needs to figure out like when to take over and when to defer. And there's a lot of that when you have a new team. None of these guys
Yeah.
have really played together outside of like Gale and Namari and Kaysen and Cheddar. Like, but there's so many new pieces that we're working in. They need to know when to defer and when it's time. Like, hey, you got the hot hand. Like Yaxel probably should have taken more than 6 shots. I
Yep.
don't think you need Morez Johnson taking 11 shots and McKenney and Gale taking 7 and 8 shots. Yaxel Lendenborg, get him up, brother. Like, let's get those shots up, especially when it's falling like that. So, lot to clean up, no doubt about it, namely those turnovers. But I feel extremely confident that under the watch of Dusty May, they will get it cleaned up.
Absolutely, man.
Yep. Anything else on basketball before we take a quick break and switch over to the meat and potatoes?
Serve them up.
Serve them up. 'Tis the season. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back, talk some football right after this. All right, we are back. We are righteous men. College football is very good, and how could it not be good? We are 8-2. Everything is still on the table. That's what we're going to lead with. That is the cold open here because it is true. I would not lie to you about matters of football. It's too important. We're going to do a little exercise here, though, because yes, we are 8-2. No, the last 2 games have not been pretty. There's a long way to go to be a playoff caliber team. So we're going to do a little look at the bright side, a little get your gripes out, a little let the love in. We're going to do a little hot, little cold. I say we start negative and end positive this time. What do you think?
That's the way to go. I mean, shout out to a listener. I believe it was Josh saying we can't always end with special teams because it's so negative. Just kind of leaves a bad taste in the mouth. So let's get the negative out of the way first.
All right, let's get the gripes out here. Do you want me to start? Or do you want to start?
I'll start. Why the hell does Samaj Morgan on the field in any capacity?
The end.
The end. I don't care. I don't understand why the leash has not been tied around the dog's neck and strangled at this point. Like, he just keeps running on the field like a coach's son, gets ample opportunities. They talk about, we believe in him. We got to support him. Why? Why do we have to do that? This is not prime Barry Sanders that we're propping
No.
up. Like, you're looking back at games from 2023. You're like, man, look at that potential. Like, you see what he can do? It's been 2 years. It's not coming back.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone. Let it go. There's other players on this roster that deserve an opportunity and can do something with it, but we keep recycling Samaj Morgan out there, and he keeps screwing up, and it's going to cost us. Like, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
No, you're not, because it's on the coaching staff now.
Yes.
He has done everything in his power to show you the player that he is, and it's malpractice to continue running him out there. Like, even former players are saying this now. Devin Gardner is saying this on his podcast. Like, this is malpractice. It is on the coaching staff. If he runs out there again, I might have to start handing pitchforks out. And this isn't what I like to do. Like, I'm sure he's a nice kid. By all accounts, like you can tell that he gets fired up on the sideline. Him and Sharon Moore have a great relationship. That's entirely possible that he has kidnapped one of Sharon Moore's children, and that is why it seems like he has a great relationship with him. He's like, yeah, anything you need, Smaj, can you release my daughter? But I don't know what's going on there, but he can't be allowed to mess it up for this team anymore. And it's not like he's some physical specimen, like some 6'3" burner that it's like, no, like he has some drops and he has some fumbles, but it's worth it he doesn't even have any big plays this year. It is not worth it for what you're getting out there to put out a 5'11" guy that's as fast as Bryson Kuzdal. You're not getting anything out of it. Let
He's
some of these other
slower than
guys get a
Kuzdal.
spin. Yeah, I think Cusdall's faster. I really do.
Yeah, and Jasper Parker missed one pass pro rep against Purdue and got yanked. Like,
Yeah.
and he's a freshman. Like, I understand,
Yes.
protecting the program and everything with Underwood back there, but one mistake gets the quick yank. With Samaj, drop a few passes. It's okay, buddy. Get back in there. Try again. Trots out there for punt returns, fumbles one. It's okay. He was out there playing receiver late in the game, mostly as a decoy, but he's still on the field. Like, Channing Goodwin should be
I
out there.
saw it. Yep. No, I totally agree with you, man. And all right, I will go to my first gripe here: turnovers. We said in our preview for Northwestern, this is a team that wants to capitalize on your mistakes and they want to make zero mistakes. And in this game, they really didn't make any mistakes. They did not turn the ball over. It is a -5 turnover margin, which I believe, according to what's been going around today, is the first time in recorded history a team has won the game in FBS with a -5 turnover margin, which maybe that should be in the positives because I don't even know how you do that. It is remarkable. Three of them on Bryce Underwood because that fumbles on him as well.
Yeah.
Looked like we would have gotten stopped on fourth down anyway, but they fumbled the ball. It had zero chance. The interceptions were both bad. One of them coming out of a timeout when you're in your own zone, and the staff had time to talk to him and be like, hey, whatever you do here, don't throw it. So that's a little bit on coaching staff, definitely on Bryce Underwood. I know he is a true freshman. He is very young, but he makes more than a neurosurgeon. So I reserve the right to be critical of his performance in this one. And then we've already touched on the Samaj Morgan turnover, but this has got to be cleaned up. This has got to be cleaned up. You will drop a game you're not supposed to. It very nearly happened. I thought it was going to happen in this game. You do that against Ohio State, it's going to be another 62-39 mess.
No, you're absolutely right. Like, he's not just reserved from criticism because he's the chosen one, the 5-star, the generational prospect. Like, you can't turn the ball over like this. We're going to talk about some positives later with him, but like cannot do that. It's unacceptable in any situation. That's how you're going to lose games. The old adage is more college football teams beat themselves than the opponent beats them. And that was Northwestern's whole strategy. They were so well coached, they were undermanned, outgunned talent-wise, but hung around this thing. Probably should have won it, but just couldn't get it done right at the last minute, and turnovers are why this was close. Another one for me, this kind of just goes to all special teams. I don't want to just put it all on Samaj. Why is JB Brown employed? Well, he should not have a job. There's nothing about the special teams that jumps out to you as like, this is an advantage. Oh, that's cool. They're really just taking advantage. We're winning the third side of the ball. Look at the field position we're doing here. Oh, there's something different with the gunners. There's nothing. There is no excitement. It is just waving the white flag. That's all it is on special teams, just completely throwing it away. And to that point, the lack of attention to detail, if you want to point to something at Sharon Moore and be like, this concerns me, it's that. You think Nick Saban would allow his special teams to be this bad throughout the entire season and not make a correction, not do anything there, not do something to turn it around? Absolutely not.
No, you're completely right. In this game alone, two Zavada missed field goals, a fake punt converted from Northwestern. Samaj Morgan turns the ball over, and I think he gained 1 yard on that, but he was fighting and clawing to get an extra 3 feet. Just go down, brother. Like,
Just fall
go
over.
down. It has been so bad. And you mentioned that last year, Kirk Campbell was fired in the bye week, so that they had the bye week to
Unofficially,
kind of
yeah.
Right. Demoted. Why
Yeah.
did that not happen this year? Why did that not happen with JB Brown? Once again, it's on Sharon Moore. It's on the coaching staff. No, and it's on Sharon Moore. It's his decision to
Yes.
bring JB
His
Brown
team.
back. And just like I said about Samaj Morgan, he has shown you who he is as a special teams coach. It has gotten demonstrably worse on
Yeah.
special teams. It is one of the worst units in the country for a team that has the expectations that we have, that have the talent that we have all over the place. Like, how mad are you if you're like the defense in a game like this and you are doing everything in your power and they are just giving the ball back away, missing field goals, fake punts? You're like, bro, give me an effing break. Like, what do you want from me here? They should be mad. Like, that special teams better be buying these dudes steak dinners after every week because they are almost costing us games, almost cost us this one, could still cost us a game. It's got to be fixed. I was hoping we could do something to maybe fix it for the rest of the year, but looks like now they're just going to ride with JB Brown for Maryland and Ohio State.
Northwestern had one drive over 40 yards and scored 22.
That's insane. I mean, I can't wait to let the love in and talk about some of the positives because that's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild, brother. Yeah, as far as other gripes, there's still some coaching stuff. It's not as egregious as what we've touched on. I think the things that we've touched on are the real gripes. There's still some coaching stuff there. I mentioned the timeout and then like Bryce throwing a pick there. I mean, you really gotta be in his ear. That is just what we cannot have happen right
The
there.
one thing you can't do in that situation is throw a pick. The only thing.
100%.
Yeah.
And then like some decisions. Do they go for that fourth down? Had Dom Zavada been a little bit more reliable? Does the special teams bleed into some decision-making things with Sharon Moore? Clock management towards the end of the game ended up working out fine,
I
but you
liked
got 2 minutes.
his response to that. I don't mean to cut you off, but like
No, no, you're fine.
he called the weird timeout after the third down and was like, what are we doing? Why are we stopping the clock? Let it run. And he said, I wanted to make sure we had the best run play available. And it worked out and got the first down. So it's like, again, it worked, so it helps out, but it's like you're going to look
Yep.
like an ass if you call a timeout and don't pick up the first down.
No, I'm with you. These are nitpicks. These are nitpicks here because it obviously ended up working out. You know, we had, what was it, a 31-yard field goal as time expired. Like that's pretty well managed. And a lot of that, you know, we'll talk about some of the good that we saw on that drive to get into positions there. And then the reverse call, I know you have some thoughts on it. And then the fourth down call, doing that out of the pistol rather than from under center. And hindsight's 2020. Both of those plays results in turnovers, so it's easy to look back on it now and be like, "Why didn't you do something different?" But we were running between the tackles pretty well. We were moving the ball pretty well, and then I just never like a 4th and 1 not under center, like especially with a 6'6" quarterback.
Yeah, it's like I like the reverse call there. Coming out mazenbrew.com tomorrow. Check that out for the film study. Out of pistol, especially running the zone read. Like, what's wrong with running power or just going under center? Anything or just a little more decision. A running back fast to the flat is one of the most popular trends in football right now. It's super hard to defend, and Kuzdal is lightning fast. So
Very fast.
just run that. The route concept is very simple. It's called running back fast to the flat. You know what happens? The running back runs fast as hell to the flat, and you throw the football to him. There it is. You can draw it up on the sideline.
Draw it up on a cocktail napkin. Yeah, nobody strained any mental muscles naming that one.
No.
I guess this is also a gripe. Coming out of a bye week, I would have liked to have seen him be much more crisp than this. I think that we were waiting to see what happened after the bye week, and it's going to be an interesting discussion here as we kind of get into this more, because in a lot of ways they were. In a lot of ways they were much more crisp coming out of the bye week. The turnovers absolutely ruined what could have been an outstanding game from this team, and the special teams just being what the special teams is. So that's, again, it's on Sharon Moore. He's the head man. He's the one that gets paid the big bucks. That being said, I think there was enough positives in here to say that this isn't like program wide. This isn't broken.
Let's let the light in. Time for some positives here.
Let it in.
The ceiling from last year is now officially the floor for this year. Team went 8-5 last year. Team's 8-2 this year. 3 wins better at the same point in the season. How many teams win that game against Northwestern at Wrigley Field in a weird site with 5 turnovers, 2 missed field goals, and are starting 7? Most teams that are just starting 7 freshmen are competing to be 500. This team's in the thick of a college football playoff race right now, despite the youth.
Well, the answer is 0. 0 teams have ever had a negative 5.
And they did it with freshmen. It wasn't like they were relying on seniors to do it. It was the freshmen growing up before our eyes. It was Andrew Marsh with the 6th best outing in Michigan program history at wide receiver. It was Bryce Underwood with the 3rd and 10 completion on the final drive to Marsh on the sideline. What's his best throw, best play of his Michigan career to not only save the game, but save the season. That's 2 freshmen hooking up for that. Like, extrapolate that in 2 years. What's that going to look like? Is that Brady Moss? Hell, I don't know. Could be something but close to it. Like, that's how they grow. They're learning on the job, and not to mention the head coach is learning on the job too and still getting better week to week. Sharon Moore's the 2nd youngest head coach in the top 25. He's not coming in with a full bevy of experience to lean on. They're all learning together at the same time, still getting better. That's what's going on. I'm sorry, it was kind of a rant, kind of all over the place. Just the light was coming in all over the directions.
I've got a rant as well. I'm not done ranting. He's only 2 months older than the youngest coach, which is Dan Lanning too. So basically the youngest coach that's ranked with by far the youngest roster.
By far.
Not even close. It is not even close. We are 8-2. Everything is still in front of us. Last year's floor is this, or last year's ceiling is this year's floor, as you so adeptly put there. And what's your plan? All you people that are reaching out to me, they're DMing me like it's time to move on from Sharon Moore. Let's workshop that. Let's game this out for you. Let's game this out. So we fire Sharon Moore after an 8-2 start. We lose Bryce Underwood, Jordan Marshall, Justice Haynes, Andrew Marsh is probably gone. Why would you stick around if you're one of those young offensive linemen? Maybe a couple stick around.
Savion
the more
Hyder.
loyal ones. Savion Hyder, gone. This recruiting class, get rid of them. They're going somewhere else. The defense, anyone that can go pro, I'm going pro. Anyone that like could have stuck around, they're going to look around. They're going to shop around. Who wouldn't want some of these Michigan defenders? You're losing Wink Martindale. You're losing what you've built on that defense that goes all the way back to Harbaugh and all that far-reaching DNA. The coach that you go to get to hire, who are you getting, by the way, in one of the worst coaching cycles that I've ever seen as far as the amount of open jobs and then the coaches that are out there? Who are you getting that you know can do better than 8-2? Okay, so then you get him in here. Who wants that job if they know that at 8-2 they're getting fired because you're not winning pretty with freshmen? Sorry guys, I know you won, but it wasn't pretty. You're fired. You are ludicrous. This is the era of I need immediate satisfaction. I need immediate I need absolute gratification right here and now. It has to look pretty. What if we go and beat Ohio State? How ridiculous are you going to feel DMing me saying fire the coach when we're in the playoffs? We can still make the damn playoffs. I'm over it. It is a ludicrous suggestion. You know who else started 8-5 and then had 2 losses in their next season? Kirby effing Smart. He has the same record through the same amount of games as Kirby Smart, and you want him fired. This is ludicrous. Sorry, it doesn't look pretty. It's a bunch of 18-year-olds. These guys are going to be freaking awesome in 2026 and 2027, and you're going to have to delete your tweets. I'm sorry. I'm yelling. I'm going on a bit of a rant, but it's preposterous.
I love it. No, it's spot on. It's just things don't exist in a vacuum. You don't just throw Sharon Moore to the curb and expect this team to come back next year better. Like, you lose Underwood, you lose everybody top to bottom, and he goes full rebuild. And it's like, do you just want to become the portal team just because Kurt Cignetti can do it? He's a one of one.
Cignetti's ruined this for everyone.
Look at Mike
Norvell. People just do Cignetti. Yeah, exactly.
You want to be Mike Norvell and go 13-0, then 2-10, and now he's on the hot seat? Like, that's how quickly these things can fall apart. Kurt Cignetti's in his 60s. Been around doing this, built programs, a one of one. That's why he is. He's the exception that proves the rule that this isn't sustainable at other programs. Look at Dante Moore at Oregon, going through ups and downs. He's a third-year player. He might be the number 1 pick in 2027, is still struggling. Look at Marcel Reed's second quarter against South Carolina. Look at Lenore Sellers' second half against Texas A&M. Like, these erratic tendencies are going to happen. It's not just going to be perfect. I know we look around, comparison is the thief of joy. You look at Ohio State, like, I want that. It's like, of course, I would love to have that.
We all want that.
We all want that, but that's just not realistic, especially when you're starting 7 freshmen. You're playing 8 a lot of the time, and just look back in recent Michigan history. Like, give a coach some time to build the program, old school mentality. Look at Lloyd Carr's first 2 years, similar to Sharon Moore, never been a head coach in his career. First year, 9-4, 5-3 in the conference. Next year, 8-4, 5-3 in the conference. Year after that, 12-0, undefeated national championship. Give these times to grow, build it. It's kind of like, you have to look at this year as kind of like year 1. Last year was very weird, a transition period between the national championship season and Sharon Moore's era, getting everything underway. They still found a way to beat Ohio State. He's still undefeated against rivals, still undefeated in rivalry games, has only lost 1 game where he was the favorite. So he's winning all the games he's supposed to, and a couple he hasn't, a la Ohio State last season. So it's getting better. This team is 3 wins better, like I said, than at this point last year. They're improving. They're even younger than that, and everything is still in front of them. Like, I'm out of breath.
I'm out of breath too. And look, I don't want to yell at our listeners because
our listeners are doing. Our listeners are ball knowers. This is the straw man we've seen on social media from people that listen to other podcasts. Yeah. It's not our listeners, but we're just venting. Yes. They have to listen to us vent.
Yeah, now you got to listen to us because we listen to you. And Yeah, no, I mean, and look, if you beat Ohio State again, which is very much on the table, I don't know if it was on the table if Jordan Marshall was out, but it's very much on the table again. Like, who do you think's more nervous for that game? Michigan, who's like, we got an outside shot at the playoffs, who knows? Or Ohio State, who's like, this is one of the best teams we've ever fielded, but yet we can't get past this Michigan problem. Like, the pressure's on them. The pressure's on them. And like, if Ryan Day loses another one, he might just be like, F this, I'm taking the Giants job, Like, so yeah, I don't want to rant about this anymore. Let's talk about some of the other positives. You mentioned Andrew Marsh. Did I undersell how good this guy was going to be? He passes Mario Manningham's freshman record in receiving. Not he didn't have the record, but his mark, and that's been my comp for Andrew Marsh in that game with 2 left to play. Has solidified himself as wide receiver number 1
With a
as a
bullet.
true freshman. I think with a bullet at this
Yeah.
point now. I mean, McCulley's still very good, but Marsh is different, man. He was absolutely different in this game. 189 yards, sets a freshman receiving record, 12 receptions, averaging 16 yards per reception. The chemistry with Bryce Underwood is there already, and these guys are just going to grow and grow to grow together. This could be something very, very special. We got one in young Andrew Marsh.
Now that I've settled down, absolutely. The one thing he does exceptionally well that blows me away for freshmen is his spacing to the sideline. Like, he understands spatial awareness. Like, McCulley still struggles with this, a late convert to the position. You can tell Andrew Marsh was put on the earth to be a wide receiver. On that deep ball, what's he do? He's on the numbers. He leaves 2 yards between he and the sideline. So Underwood has that window to drop the ball in. So he has all that space to work. An extra 6 feet does a lot for a quarterback. And Marsh had great positioning, fell right underneath it, and it was beautiful to see. That's something you don't see, that attention to detail from freshmen. And like, I'm not surprised that now it's starting to pick up. I think we're only going to see him to continue to get better. Like, I don't know if it's going to be a 200-yard receiving game. That seems a little ridiculous, but he is just getting more refined. He's going to get more touches. And when the game was on the line, I talked about that play Underwood made. He was looking to Marsh. Like, they have that connection. That's his guy. And when the game's on the line, it's such a valuable asset to have that. Didn't have it last year. I mean, we had Peyton O'Leary making plays, but like Roman Wilson was that guy in 23, Ronnie Bell maybe in 22. But like, this is something Michigan has not had the luxury of, especially with a player of Marsh's talent.
Yeah, if you want to go just talent, it's not since Nico Collins did we have one with this kind of talent. Like, his ceiling is higher than Roman Wilson, it's higher than Ronnie Bell.
It's
I
higher
don't
than
even know
Nico
what to
Collins
look.
in college, I can tell you that.
Yeah, yeah, no, and it might be higher than Mario Manningham, who has been my
Yeah.
comp for him. Like, this is crazy stuff. We really got a player there, and McCauley as well with 60 yards receiving in this one. And look, I mean, Bryce Underwood was on track to have his best game. He still throws for 280 yards in this one. And in the first half was looking polished, looking way better on the RPOs, looking decisive. I liked some of the decisions that he was making. We obviously touched on the interceptions at the top, so we're letting the light in here. But if we want to talk about some of the positives, he was slinging it there for a bit.
He started the game 10 of 11 for a buck 38. He was
That'll
outstanding
do.
to start this game. It was the best Bryce we've seen. Like, you and I were joking in text. It was the best of Bryce, it was the worst of Bryce. The best, though, was outstanding. I mean, his feet were married to his eyes. He was trusting his protection in the pocket. He had complete command of the offense and remove a few bad plays even late in this game. He makes that late rush to pick up the first down, keep the chains moving, has the third down throw to the sideline, just set, never. He spiraled a little bit during that stretch, but he was able to pull himself out of that. We didn't see that against Michigan State or Purdue. We just saw the spiral. And then eventually the game was over and we got out of there. In this one, we needed him to pull himself up by his bootstraps and get the win, and he did that. That's impressive.
Hmm. Yeah, that third down conversion to Marsh is going to be the one that you look back on. Especially if we end up beating Ohio State and going on a bit of a run, that conversion, you're going to go back and look at that and be like, was that the most important play of the season? It shows maturity, and it also shows something that you and I look for. It's not something that can be measured on a stat sheet, and that's just, are you a gamer or not? When these lights get bright and you've got to make a play, are you the type of player that can go out and do it? And Underwood to Marsh, I got to give them both credit for it, because both of them, he made an incredible play. Marsh made an incredible play, and we are allowed to get down there, get into field goal range, and win this one. It's an incredibly, incredibly important play in the history and the story of telling this season.
Adding to that, I know he got hurt. Jordan Marshall was on an absolute heater in this
Whew.
game. Jordan Marshall was tearing apart this defense, just running angry. I mean, shout out to Northwestern. I came away just more impressed by that Northwestern team. You and I
Yeah,
previewed them ad nauseum last Thursday on the live or last Wednesday on the live. Physical team, well coached, disciplined, and it was body blow after body blow. Eventually got a big one in there. And then when Jordan Marshall came out of the game, Bryson Cusdahl came in and ran hard, like still getting his bearings about him, but he's fast. He uses that speed to get up, like to get 0 to 60 really fast, hit the hole, be explosive. And we're going to talk about the offensive line in a second and what they meant to this. But very impressed with the running backs, very impressed with Marshall, and blown away at how Cusdahl stepped up in the moment when we needed him. Former walk-on.
absolutely, man. Yeah, and this Northwestern defense coming downhill, anticipating run, and Jordan Marshall still in like he goes out what in the early in the fourth, I think it was, or late in
Yeah.
the third. 19 carries, a buck 42, averaging 7.5 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns, breaks a 65-yarder, has one called back. Absolutely killing him. And he goes out, and I mean, that's when our text thread got a little dark because it didn't look good. And I'm like, all right, well, you can about pack it in there because he's so important, man. He has been incredible. I mentioned at the top, he passes Justice Haynes in yards rushing in this one. And we were talking about Justice Haynes like he was the second coming of Barry Sanders. Just what an incredible 1-2 punch. It's a shame we won't really get to see it in its full glory. But he was excellent. Cusdahl in this one as well, running very hard. If he puts on 10 pounds, I don't want him to put on too much weight because he's a burner. But I think you got something with him. He's a player as well. So yeah, shout out to this running game. 216 on the ground is nothing to scoff at.
Third
It's
straight
just
200-yard
frustrating.
rushing game.
It's very frustrating to look at the overall yard totals
Oh,
in
read
this
them.
one
Read
though,
them.
because 496 to 245. We outpassed him 280 to 184. We outrushed him 216 to 61, and we won by 1 point. This should have been 42 to 10.
Yeah, that's what makes that win. Like, if you want a glass half full, it's so impressive. Spotted him 5 turnovers and 2 missed field goals. Still won.
It's insane, man. Yeah, and if we're letting the light in still, let's talk about that offensive line, who I thought as this game went on played some of their best ball. Early on, I'm like, oh, all right, 3 sacks at the half, don't love that. And then the run blocking,
Yeah,
it
only
took a
like
minute, but
38 rushing yards at halftime.
yeah, it took a minute for them to get going. But in the second half, man, they were really asserting their will. They were getting downhill. They were getting their hats on helmets, helmet on helmet, and they were moving dudes out there. And overall, I came away very impressed with this offensive line.
Brother, they got an ass chewing at halftime. I can
I'm sure they did.
assure you of that. And you could see it pay off. And then I thought you even saw them take another step once Marshall went out. Like they were just moving this like defensive
Hmm.
line because we needed to have it. And that's what I keep like loving about this team is like different positions are stepping up when we need to have it. Like, all right, we need it from you now. You got to do it. And the unit did. Like they were just consistently moving Northwestern backwards and creating huge rushing lanes for Cusdahl. I loved the symbiotic relationship between Bryce Underwood and the offensive line and pass protection. It seemed like they were finally on the same page for the first time all season. Like even on his first interception, like it's a tricky blitz, a zone look. Offensive line Jordan Marshall do a great job picking it up. Like do a great job protecting him, giving him a clean pocket. I thought they did that throughout the second half of this. And I think you really saw them play their best ball of the season period. And seeing like an
Yeah.
offensive line take that kind of step with 3 freshmen on it, mind you, is very encouraging
Hmm.
for the final 2 games.
Yeah, man. Needed to see it because you and I were pretty critical of the offensive line. It's such a key component of what Michigan wants to be year in and year out. And last year wasn't good enough. It really wasn't. This year's team is a finalist for the Joe Moore Award. I don't think they're going to win it, but they come out after getting that recognition like, hey, you're one of the finalists and you have your best game. And it's like, you know what? You are one of the finalists. This is an improving offensive line that is only going to get better. Like we could see some all timer stuff if
Yeah.
these guys stick together. You get Andy Babs back, Ty Haywood. I don't even know what to do with Ty Haywood. This is building into be an incredible and dominant unit, and they were dominant in this one in the second half. Pass protection, I thought, cleaned up as
It's very
well
good.
in the second half. So it was both phases of protection and run blocking. So yeah, man. Any individuals you wanted to call out on the O line?
I really Gio El-Hadi was good. Everybody was just good in the second half. It was like more of just the sum of the parts is what it was. Like occasionally a player would miss here, but they wouldn't miss badly. Like Andrew Sprague got beat on the 3-man rush on that throw on the sideline we keep referencing, but it was okay because like he didn't get smoked by it. He was sliding back a little bit on skates. Underwood felt it, had time to sneak out and make the play. Like it was more or less like that. Like they had mitigated all their losses and they were winning together. And that's what you want to see from a good unit. It was very reminiscent of like the 2022 and 2023 lines where it's like, okay, there's one pro on here, but everybody together was playing at such a high level. And that's what you want to see. It's that cohesion. Like Andrew Vastardis was never going to be Jason Kelsey. It was just never going to
Yeah.
happen. But he was so smart and rose everybody's level across them is why they're able to run the football so well in 2021.
Yeah, and I don't think Cripp and El Hadi are going very high in this
No,
draft if they
no.
get picked at all, like individual talent wise, those but you need them. You need that experience out there because I think that is really helping with those other young guys, and that's going to pay dividends next year when it's probably going to be overall an even younger line when you get rid of El Hadi and Crippen and you bring in God, what does next year's offensive line even
It'll be
look like?
older just because your
Babs,
3
Lake,
young guys are all a
Sprague.
year older, so you're gonna have that advantage. You'll have 3 older
Yeah, I
guys.
guess it adds up,
Yeah,
but yeah. But it'll still be a pretty young unit next year, which
yeah.
is kind of crazy to say, but trending in a great direction. And that's what we're going to need against Maryland because who knows if we'll have Jordan Marshall. So could be Cusdall and Parker for that one, but should have him for Ohio State and them getting better and better on their way to Ohio State. We know the formula. We know the formula.
This offense had every reason, this team in general, but really the offense had every excuse in the world to pack it in this game. And just
Mm-hmm.
we don't have it today. All these turnovers, we could just give up. It could have been across the board, but you go back and watch that final possession. That is not a team that just had 3 consecutive turnovers. They're back out there. They're picking up the slack. And a big reason they had that opportunity is because the defense never lost the faith. It's time to give that unit some love.
Yeah, let's get over to their defense. Last little bit. I'm a coward for not doubling down on my Andrew Marsh player of the game that I called for Purdue. Should have just kept riding it, but I'm a coward. So he was definitely the player of the game. That was the Andrew Marsh game. On defense, though, 22 points, 10 of them coming off turnovers. So basically, this game probably should have been 41-10, like I said earlier. This defense did everything in their power. Second half as well, even after the turnovers, getting put in awful spots by your offense time and time again. And what do? They come out and make life absolute hell on this Northwestern team. You hold them to 61 yards rushing, and Komalafe is a real running back. Like I like that guy. He's good. And you basically shut him down. Again, kind of like what you were saying about the offensive line. I don't look at any one individual in this game like, man, thank God we had that guy. This was really some of its parts, collective unit, defense all playing together and holding this talented Northwestern team. I know the 22 points don't look good on paper, but that a lot of that is the turnovers.
One drive over 40 yards, and that was a 75-play drive, death by paper cuts, and moved the ball down the field. But following that drive, Michigan allowed 3 total yards on 3 possessions, and all of those possessions came in sudden change moments following turnovers.
That's
Just
a silly statistic.
completely shut the door on this game. And again, it was like, hey, like the offensive line, Jordan Marshall goes down. We need you to take over for Cusdall. Help him out. Help out Bryce. Wink Martindale on the defense. Hey, we need you guys. Like, we need you to come up with multiple stops here, give the offense more possessions. And that's exactly what they did. Smothered them. You hit the nail on the head. Some of their parts, while the defensive line played great, cohesive, didn't get frustrated when we weren't getting pressure. No one trying to be a hero getting out of their rush lane. And if we don't call out one person individually, play of the game, Jordan Young. I can't believe, I
Jordan
mean,
Young.
if I want to nitpick, I'm a little nervous that we had him out there in that moment, but now I see why he was out there because he made the play. He was ready to do it, and he did it. It was, I mean, very different situation. Mikey Sainristil-esque with the late PBU in that one. Just an incredible moment for him. And once again, another freshman making a play in this game.
Yeah, man, it's very difficult to pick one player of the game because there wasn't the big sack that changed momentum. There wasn't the turnover. Our turnover streak ends in this one. The ferryman is left wanting. No jingle jangle of change in his pocket. No sacks in this one. I don't think we got Preston Stone even once.
It's a good offensive
which is
line.
kind of crazy.
Their tackle is going to
really good offensive line.
Be a top 100 pick. Their one tackle is really good.
Yeah, they were really good. They kept us out of the backfield, but nonetheless, just playing discipline. Getting Jimmy Rolder back certainly helped. I thought he was good in this one. I thought Barham had a little bit of a rough start and then settled into his own, which was good to see because he was kind of trending in the wrong direction.
Oh,
Mason
Metcalf with the
Curtis,
spine buster.
come on now, had to reshare that one on Instagram as soon as that went up.
That
I like TJ Metcalf. He can come back next year. He's only a junior. I would anticipate he
he'll be
does
back.
come back
Yeah.
next year. So one more of TJ Metcalf. I think Mason Curtis has been coming on of late. I
Got a
think they
game
know
ball
how
for
to
this
use him
game.
a lot
Yeah.
better. Yeah, I don't know, that tracks. I had him written down as well. And then whole defensive line. Whole defensive line, not sexy, not the big numbers, not the crazy pressure, but they couldn't do anything. I mean, we told you the stats. They could not do anything. They're getting their hands up. If you're not getting in there, you're getting into passing lanes, which I think is great. So, yeah, man, this was a great performance by this defense. And had they have even given up a little bit more, it might have been enough for Northwestern to get the victory, pull the upset. We needed everything from the defense in this one, and they gave it.
I told you during the game, really reminded me of the 2022 Illinois game. Blake Corum gets injured in that one. No Donovan Edwards is available, so it comes down to Isaiah Gash to make some plays. Offense can't get it going that well. They're settling for field goals. It's field goal, need to stop, field goal, need to stop, and then they get a game-winning field goal to avoid the upset before Ohio State that year. In this one, very similar. You get the big injury, offense can't get it together, defense makes several stops, but this one was a little sweeter at the end because after missing 2 kicks during this game, one egregious, one not so bad. It was from 60. Dom Zavada hits a game-winning field goal at Wrigley Field and gets carried off the field. Like, how can you not be romantic about football when you see something like that? I was so happy for him. Even he was kind of like, missed a couple in that one, but like, good for him because if you want to salvage a season, a game winner is a hell of a way to start.
Yep. And that's what we'll remember. I'm not going to remember a missed 60-yarder. I'm not going to remember that early miss there. I am going to remember the fact that he hit the one that counted. And look, we all want to root for Dom Zavada. That's our kicker, man. He is not having the year that he had last year. Obviously, that's not any breaking news. He's probably cost himself a chance at getting drafted, and who knows how that goes now with his kicking future. But what does matter is what is controllable for him, what's still on the table for him, and that is making some kicks down the stretch and getting some confidence built back up into him. Hopefully, this helps build his own confidence back up, and like it's such a unique position on the field where it's so mental and it's so process oriented and it's so like little things can absolutely get you off your game.
It's like
here.
golfing.
So maybe this turns it around. It's a lot like golf, man. It's a lot like golf where it's just like, man, I don't have it today. I'm just shanking. I don't know what this is. And but then you have a good shot and maybe that turns things around. And this was a much needed kick. He gets the game winner there. And yeah, man, good for Dom Zapata. I'm with you. Well said.
Yeah, that was, again, I love at the end of this game. It felt very much like a baseball game where it was bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, defense stepped
Walk
up.
off.
Bryce Underwood stepped up, walk off from the kicker, fly the W. It was a very much a ugly, horrible win. I rewatched this game for the film study. It wasn't super enjoyable, but all I'm going to remember is the win. And it was a team win throughout, and it's something to rally around in the locker room. It's like, we got it done. We found a way with everything against us. Could have packed it in. Could have just don't have it. We're a young team. We'll be good next year. No, found a way to win, man. That says a lot about the character and culture of the team.
It is an ugly win that is back-to-back ugly wins. But I
back to
think
back to
in
back,
this one,
honestly.
yeah. No, there's been a lot of ugly wins. But that is kind of what you would expect. It sucks to watch it in the moment. You're like, why isn't this getting better? But when you look at the forest for the trees, and when we look back on this season years from now, it's like, man, that team was struggling. Like, that was freshman year Jordan Marshall, freshman year Bryce Underwood, freshman year Andrew Marsh. That was freshman on the offensive line. We're going to be like, well, yeah, of course. And when we see the dividends, we can come back and revisit this in 2027 when we're undefeated going into Ohio State. We can come back and revisit this about all the dividends that these ugly wins played.
Again, if this team wins 10 games this year, so say they beat Maryland, lose Ohio State, win the bowl game, Bryce Underwood will be the winningest true freshman quarterback in Michigan history. And that's not just him, because the other quarterbacks, like Chad Henne, had Braylon Edwards and 2 All-Americans on the defensive side of the ball and a lot of extra help. He would be the winningest freshman quarterback this year, playing with 6 other freshmen, not to mention the freshman on the defense and a second-year head coach.
And 0 All-Americans on this team.
0
no
All-Americans
on this team.
The streak of unanimous All-Americans ends this year.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does. Let me go ahead
it
and
is.
spoil that for you. There'll be some all Big Ten guys there. Jair Hill, maybe. I think quietly having one of the better seasons in the country. And it is like the quiet success. I think
Yeah.
maybe I could see second team all Big Ten for Jair Hill.
It could be second team. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
talk me into that.
I could see something like that. Yeah. Ernest Hausman coming on of late could be. I mean, the numbers will be, I think he'll be our leading tackler. Maybe.
I think.
Probably should be.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up. I got Ernest Hausman right here. What do we got so far for tackles this year? I could see him sneaking in there. He's got 68 total. He had 89 last year. So
He'll
could
pass
come
it.
up a little.
I think he'll pass
Yeah.
it. Like, I mean, it's going to be close, but it's like, I mean, you factor in 3 games as well, not just 2.
Yeah. Yeah. And then only the 1 sack. So yeah, if he gets like another sack, gets a forced fumble, I could see him getting recognized. But yeah, no All-Americans. It's not on paper a team that looks all that impressive. I mean, there's a lot of talent out there, but it's all so young. It's all year 1 of all of our most talented guys. And then like the guys that have been there, the guys that have won are like the El Hadis, the Crippens of the world. Jair Hill's got a ring. Zeke Berry's got a ring, but
Yeah. And again, this
you
team
know.
lost their best player in Justice Haynes. Like, he was the
Mhm.
best player through the first quarter of the first half of the season and is gone. And they're still finding a way to do it with these freshmen. Most teams that play freshmen like this are just fighting to be 500. You take away their best player, the upperclassmen, they're probably going to finish under that. But hey, you're building for the future. And you have to keep that perspective in this one. Like, this season is just the first step with this group.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating to see. So, say that scenario plays out. Say we beat Maryland, lose to Ohio State, and then we get that bowl game. Do we play more freshmen? Do we just do the entire freshman, like the entire freshman roster?
So
It
it
very
feels
well
like.
could be.
Yeah, that's what you have
Yeah.
to like that, get him the experience and all that. The bowl game doesn't count against you. And it's like, if that happens, like if this team goes 9-3 playing all those freshmen, losing Justice Haynes in the middle of it, not to mention Cole Sullivan, Jimmy Rolder. It feels like so many players on this team have missed some time this year, but still finding a way to win. Like I said, that always speaks to your point about you gotta learn how to win small before you can win big. And I
Hmm.
think this is that first step.
Yep. And at the beginning of the season, I'm not going to back down from what we were saying coming in that 9-3, 10-2, successful season, depending on how the 9-3 looks. 10-2 with a win over Ohio State is flat out a successful season. Period.
Period.
The end.
Yeah,
That is an incredible season.
we said at the beginning of the year, go back to the podcast, dig through the archives and our season preview podcast, that this team for success is to be in the playoff hunt in late November. And that's exactly where they're at. And we predicted the
Yep.
losses as well to Oklahoma and
Yeah.
USC.
Yep. Can't drop Maryland now. And
Can't
we'll
drop
we'll
Maryland.
go.
Drop that
Should be able to
conversation's
go.
going to change about some things, but we'll still keep our
Yeah,
heads.
yeah, yeah. I'll have to apologize for my rant if we drop Maryland. Be like, all right, my bad. You guys are right. So, but should be able to handle Maryland even without Jordan Marshall. And then that sets up a clash, man. That sets up a monster clash at the end of the year. I'm sure we'll have game day, big noon
Oh, yeah.
kickoff, whatever it ends up being. Like, all eyes are going to be on that one. And, hopefully just play a little better against Maryland to feel good going into that. I think you can still feel good about some of what you saw in this game and feel that what was going against you, all those turnovers, is something that can be fixed. That is, you can clean that up. That is very doable.
Exactly. And like, it's just about just cleaning up the little things. It doesn't have to be impressive because remember, go back to 2019 and this team is on an absolute heater heating into Ohio State. You smoke Notre Dame, you smoke Maryland, you retire D'Antonio, you smoke Indiana with a career day from Nico Collins. We are back. We're going to kick their ass. It's gonna, no, smoked 56-27. It's about getting the details right. That's what this team needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
Get the little things right. Don't worry about the score. Don't worry about winning pretty. You clean up the details. The score's going to take care of itself, and the wins are going to continue to pile up.
Well said, my friend. We should be able to go live again this week. Don't see any reason why not. And if not, we'll certainly do a second pod, but I would anticipate live on Thursday around 7-ish Eastern time is generally when we try and get those out. We'll confirm via Twitter and social media what that's going to look like. And then, next week, this is crazy, man. This time next week, we are previewing. Oh my God. Well, I mean, we'll break down Maryland, but then we're going to do a special something for Ohio State. That's obviously got to be a special podcast. So
that's why we do this.
This is why we do it. This is why we wake up in the morning. This is why we do the work We grind the tape, especially you. Go check out Andy's film studies over on maizenbrew.com. What a wonderful website. Anything else from you before we call it?
No, man, that wraps it up. It was a busy week, but I'm going to miss this in the summer.
As am I, man. And I get to go from talking some football with you, go throw on a Pistons game, go rewatch some basketball highlights from the Michigan. I love it. I live for it, man. I live for it. Sometimes it can feel like a lot, but like you said, come summertime, I'm gonna be like looking for water in the desert. So these are the times of abundance. All right. That is going to do it for Out of the Blue. Thank you to producer Tony. Thank you to all of you that have been tuning in this season. I am Jared. That is Andy. It's Out of the Blue. We'd like to remind you that wherever you go, go blue.